In this lesson, we'll look at the various Revit file types and what a family is. Although the organization of Revit is controlled by views, the actual physical objects that you place into your model are called families. These families interact with other families quite well. For example, if I insert a door into a wall, Revit knows to cut a hole out of the wall to host the door. The objective of this exercise is to review what the different families are and explain their role in the model. If we look at the slide, we'll look at the 4 different Revit types that there are. There's RVT, that's a Revit project file. That's the main file you'll be working in most of the time. RFA is what I just mentioned. It's a Revit family file. These files are loaded into the model and interact with other families within the model. RTE is a Revit template file. These are the files you'll use when you start a brand new project. RFT is a Revit family template file. These are the files you'll use when you start to build a brand new family from scratch. If you could, open the file you've been working on, or open the file called Chapter 2 and follow along. The first thing we'll look at are the different Revit file extensions. Go to the purple R, or the Program button, it's the same thing. Go to Save As, go to Project. The first thing we'll see are those backups we discussed earlier. What Revit does is it saves these backups each time you hit the Save button. These backups are a snapshot in time. Also look down here where it says Files of Type. All Revit project files are .rvt. A lot of times I like to just delete these files, which is what I'm going to do right now. By selecting it and hitting the delete key, we can get rid of the backup files. The reason I do this is because someone always inadvertently opens the wrong file. Go ahead and hit the cancel button, clear out of there. The next thing I want to look at are the different types of families. There's 2 different types of families, that is the system family and a hosted family. System families are inherent to the current model and aren't inserted in the traditional sense. You can only modify a system family through its element properties within the model. The walls you've put up to this point are system families, for example. You didn't have to insert a separate file in order to find the wall type. The system families in a Revit architecture models are as follows: walls, floors, roofs, ceilings, stairs, ramps, shafts, rooms, schedules, quantities, text, dimensions, and views. System families host other families. Those families are called hosted families. All other families in Revit are hosted in some way by a system family, a level, or a reference plane. For example, a wall sconce is a hosted family in that, when you insert it, it will be appended to a wall. Hosted families carry a file extension of .rfa. To insert a hosted family, follow along with me. On the Architecture tab, click the Door button on the Build panel. You'll see what we've done is activate the Modify Place Door command. In the properties, you'll see the picture of the door, single flush, and hit the drop-down. We have all these different types of one family. This is a hosted family. Notice when I bring my cursor into the drawing area, I get the International No sign. That means I can't just throw a door out in the middle of the field somewhere. But when I come over to my wall, notice that it grabs onto the wall and it wants to insert the door. This is a hosted family. You can't just put a hosted family anywhere. It needs a wall to host it. Each family has different types. Say, for example, this single flush 36 by 84. If I click on the Edit Type button, you'll see that 36 by 84 is current. When I hit the drop-down, I have all these different Revit types. So each family, single flush door, has multiple different types to it. The next thing I want to look at are Revit template files. When we started our project earlier, we used one. I didn't quite explain it, but I'll explain it now. If you go to the purple R, or the Program button, let's go to New, let's go to Project. These templates carry the file extension of RTE. If you click the Browse button, you'll see that we can choose any other template. Chances are your company has a template. It'll be a good idea for you to find out if they do or not, because if you start a drawing using an old template, you're going to be in trouble. Click the Cancel button, and click the Cancel button again. Let's look at another type of template. If I go to the purple R, and I go to New, and if I go to Family, this brings us into the Family dialog. The family template files are called RFT. All of our families are made from predefined templates. Go ahead and hit Cancel. So there we have it. Revit is like one big community of families. It's good to know what a hosted family is compared to a system family and the different Revit file extensions.